Conventional wisdom says that to move on, that we have to forgive our ex-wife. That it's a necessary part of the healing process, but is it really? What is forgiveness anyways? And do you have to forgive your ex in order to heal? Well, let's find out, and let's start revving that engine. Many so-called experts now, they say that you have to forgive our exes in order to move on, but I'm not so sold on that because, well, really, we have to learn what forgiveness truly is. It can mean a shitload of things to all kinds of people, and there's even 3 different kinds of forgiveness. There's exoneration, there's forbearance, and last, there's release. Now, when we think of forgiveness, we usually think of exoneration as in swiping the slate clean. It's a let's hug it out kind of thing. It's a we're cool. It's a forgive and forget. It's what bros do. It's usually when one of us fucks up and apologizes, and the other one it just completely forgives and says, dude, it's all good, no worries. Then you got forbearance, and that's usually what happens between couples. It's the, hey, I'm sorry, but you did this kind of thing. Like, sorry I called you an asshole, but you really pissed me off. You get a half-assed apology, then you move on. It's the, you forgive, but you don't forget. But the kind of forgiveness that I'm referring to, it's release. And release is when your ex, let's call her Katie, because for some reason there's a disproportionate number of my clients' ex that are named Katies. Don't know why. So release is when Katie, when she does something that you feel is fucked up, but she just goes on her merry own way about her day as if she didn't do shit. Release is when you let go of those negative feelings towards that person. No apology necessary. You just let go and there's indifference. I guess you could call release that you may not be forgiven, but you're certainly forgotten. But as I research forgiveness, well, forgiveness in general, it involves the intentional decision to let go of both resentment and anger. And that's where things get tricky because, well, resentment, well, it's the feeling of unpleasant thoughts that you experience when you feel that you've been dicked over. Some would say that the opposite of resentment is gratitude. And by that definition alone, there's no fucking way that I'll ever stop resenting my ex. She did me wrong, and hell no do I forgive. But gratitude, now that's a tricky point because, well, I am grateful that she left. I even did a video on Stoicism where I speak about her lover's death, and I say this about him. But I'd like to think that somehow, despite this being done out of pure hedonism, that the world turned it into his very last act of kindness. Because if he had died before their affair, I'd still be with her being cheating on. As for my ex, this person, she was just way too toxic. She was controlling, and her jealousy, it was pathologic. An example was where I once had her come into the restroom after I took a shit just to see if it smelled. And since I suppose my shit doesn't stink, she said that she demanded to see my phone because she said I didn't take a crap. That's the thing that irks me about jealousy, that they're always looking for you to lie and try to catch you in something. No matter what, a jealous person will make a simple text that says, hope you're doing well, as a sign of flirtation, that they'll find fault in anything, thereby making you always feel like you're doing something wrong. Am I grateful she left? Hell yeah, but hell no would I think, or just too much pride, man. People say that we need to forgive to move on, and that is for our own benefit. And you know what I think? I think that's the politically correct answer. That's the shit you say when you're at an interview. It's lame, it's boring, it's bullshit. And that's what I tell the men as I work with them. That I'll take them at their word as long as they don't lie to themselves. I don't give a shit if they lie to me. It's only going to hurt them. But the biggest danger is when we start lying to ourselves. The thing of it is that, well, it wasn't the platform that I wanted to campaign on, metaphorically speaking. I did. I wanted karma to bite her in the ass, and simply put, it did. Karma came to me and gave me a kiss on the forehead and proceeded to collect on her debt. And when you see that happening, you go from a deep anger to a lot of pity, and you feel so sorry for them. You see them differently. Today, if I have to be honest with myself, she kind of grosses me out. Now, there aren't very many men that can say that they saw their ex get what they deserve, and I was fortunate enough to be one of them, and it feels strange because, well, I suppose you should be feeling something, be it joy or redemption. it did nothing for me. It was though I was drinking room temperature water when I wasn't even thirsty. I tasted absolutely nothing. You want to feel something, but you just don't. What you don't want to become, though, is that angry fella, that guy that's still talking about their ex years down the line because you're just hurting yourself. And as a divorce coach, I've seen many men become crippled with anger and resentment to the point that it's tangible across the screen. Many want to vent, and the reality is that it's my obligation to have them look within them. Some guys, they've been divorced for years and they say that they can't trust women anymore. Others, they join groups like Men Going Their Own Way or MGTOW. Others, they blame the system for everything and they join the red pill movement thinking that money will help them out, thinking that if they only made more money, they'd either be happier or get laid more often. I'll respond by saying that you may have money, but certainly lack imagination and talent there. I'll also say that the best financial year of my life was the worst personal year of my life. Others grow to hate women, yet others, they blame feminism. I'm not going to bullshit you. The system sucks, and many of us got hosed. Many of us got pussified, but to hear hatred in their voice, it's tragic. When I hear a guy's story, there's shit that we can and cannot control, but after a while, you got to let shit go. Let me make this clear. You were used. You were abused, but let's put a perspective on things. You were not a rape victim, so stop acting like it. May feel like you did. May feel like you lost them testing and became a castrati, but you weren't. You just have to realize that your life, that it didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to. But you hear these boo-hoo feel-good coaches say, they'll tell you that you gotta forgive in order to move on. You know who you gotta forgive? You gotta forgive yourself, man. Because when all said and done, many guys, especially at the initial portion of their breakup, they're gonna feel a tremendous amount of guilt. If you're watching this and you're still at the initial stage of the breakup, let me just say that it's normal, very normal. And then, however, here's what's gonna happen. Mark my words. You wake up and you go from a deep chest-crushing guilt to anger. And as you realize that you were bamboozled, and worse, many of you guys are going to have to pay your ex through alimony or worse, through your retirement. So you're angry that your life, it didn't turn out the way you wanted to, and worse, because you're going to have to pay for it. But as I tell the guys, they may have your money, but you have their soul, because one way or another, nothing for free. And if you think that they're being held unaccountable for their action, mark my words, that the day will come. You may or you may not find out during your life incarnate, but the day will come when life will come and collect on her debts. Now, when it's her turn to pay, because you can't file for bankruptcy in life, life is like the mob. It won't give you a choice. What? You don't have time for this? Fuck you, pay me. What? But you fell in love with someone else? Fuck you, pay me. What? You needed to find yourself 7 years ago? Fuck you, pay me. Now, many guys, they say that they want to focus on themselves. You probably mean that you need a breather in life, that you need to figure shit out. The sooner you let it go and move on, the easier it will be to forgive yourself. And as much as I stated that you don't need to forgive your ex, there's still the rancor factor. And rancor, that's what eats you up inside. That's the bitterness, that's the hatred, and that's when you lose yourself. You know, Richard Nixon, he once said that others may hate you, but those who hate you don't win unless you hate them, and then you destroy yourself. Gentlemen, stop being your own victim. I hear guys blame their ex 10 years after their breakup for getting a DUI they got last week. I hear guys hating their ex. I hear them talk about their ex and say it with such a tangible level of venom that there's no way, no how, no chance that they can say it without so much fervor should they meet someone they like. You have to shake it off, gents. You must look at your situation with a level of humor, no matter how tragic it is. Like the saying goes, I cried when she left me, but I laughed when I found who she left me for. They can't do better than you, and they won't do better than you, even if they got fucked by GigaChat. They were just used, and they confused sex with love. But you gotta let shit go, because it's going to cripple you. And that's usually when I hear guys say that they want to work on themselves. I ask them and I have to challenge them. Working on yourself is not being by yourself. Working on yourself includes meeting other people. It includes improving your appearance, not just your muscles. Working on yourself is learning to communicate with others. It's learning to entertain at home. It's all of the fucking above. It's not inaction. And let's face it, that's what we usually mean when we say that. So I'll argue that working on yourself is an excuse. It's inertia, because even if you pick up a motherfucking book, please remind me what you did differently after reading it. I mean, you just spent 8 hours reading something. How much did you spend applying it? My point is that we're too busy listening to self-righteous, judgmental, good-for-nothing, stone-throwing experts who can't get their shit together, that it impedes our growth. Don't worry about forgiveness. You're asking too much of yourself. Worry about becoming better. Get ahead of your problem, and if you hate, turn it into a positive by improving yourself with the purpose of loving life, loving yourself, because hating your ex, it will bring you down. Don't worry about forgiveness. That may or may not come. Worry about your excellence. And how do you do that? You know, I did a study that shows that men who admire others, be it style, confidence, even looks, men who admire others have a better quality of life than those that they don't admire anyone, or even those who only admire themselves. And the reason is simple. You have to grow. And if you don't have some kind of role model, you're going to fail to thrive. They're haters. They're so insecure that they can't even admire someone else's talents. And that's a fucking shame. Gain a role model. I have many. And even if it's unattainable, I'm not trying to be them, but they do inspire me. I want the heart of Rocky Balboa, the body of Brad Pitt, the style of Bond, Daniel Craig as James Bond, the charisma of The Rock, and the confidence of Bradley Cooper in the movie Limitless. Since I know that this video is on forgiveness, and if you haven't noticed, it became more of a conviction rally. And that's because, to forgive or not, if you put yourself first, if you improve who the fuck you are, then you find your inner peace. You'll never find your inner peace through her. So next time she pisses you off, look at them in the eyes and smile, knowing that karma, that she's coming for your Katie. Gentlemen, in the comments section of this video, you'll find a very important site. It's my site to both join one of the fastest men's divorce support group on Facebook. Join us. It's free and it's confidential. You'll also find a site to schedule a free one-on-one with me. Let's face it, we all need it. So join us, because if you're going through a divorce, you have no idea just how much your life will change. And unfortunately for many, if you're not prepared, it's for the worse. So click on the site and both join our Facebook group along with making a one-on-one, because I promise you this. I promise that if it wouldn't be doing this, if I didn't feel in my heart that I'm the best fucking divorce coach out there. Thank you very much.